We're going to continue the reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 4, Adilila, the confidential reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki Jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. So we continue with text 23 of the Adilila chapter 4. Maya bhaktir hi bhutanan amritabhya vaja kalpate dristyayat asin mat sneho bhavatinam mat apanaha. Devotional service rendered to me by the living beings revives their eternal life. O my dear damsels of Vraja, your affection for me is your good fortune, for it is the only means by which you have obtained my favor. Matamora putra bhave karena bandhana atihina gyane kore lalana palana. Mother sometimes binds me as her son. She nourishes and protects me, thinking me utterly helpless. Sakasudha sakye kore skande arohana tumikon bada loka tumi amisama. My friends climb on my shoulders in pure friendship, saying, "What kind of big man are you? You and I are equal." So Lord Sri Krishna is talking about all the different relationships that devotees can have with him. Priya Yodi Manakori Karaya Varsana Vedastuti Haitehare Seimo Ramana. If my beloved consort reproaches me in sulky mood, that steers my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. Ei Sudha Bhaktalanya Karimu Avatara Kariba Vividha Vidha Adputa Vihara Vaikunta Dyenahi Yeye Lilara Prachara Seselila Karivayate Mora Shamatkara. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, and none even in Vaikunta. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. Lord Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in various wonderful activities depicted in his sublime philosophy and teachings. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and in all of them the Lord accepts the service rendered by his eternal devotees in a reverential mood. Therefore, Lord Krishna presents his most confidential pastimes as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Movisaya gopi ganera upapati bhave yogamaya kariveka apana prabhave. The influence of Yoga Maya will inspire the gopis with the sentiments that I am their paramour. Purport. The Yoga Maya is the name of the internal potency that makes the Lord forget himself and become an object of love for his pure devotee in different transcendental mellows. This Yogamaya potency creates a spiritual sentiment in the minds of the damsels of Braja, by which they think of Lord Krishna as the paramour. This sentiment is never to be compared to mundane illicit sexual love. It has nothing to do with sexual psychology, although the pure love of such devotees seems to be sexual. One should know for certain that nothing can exist in this cosmic manifestation that has no real counterpart in the spiritual field. All material manifestations are emanations of the transcendence. The erotic principles of amorous love reflected in mixed material values are perverted reflections of the reality of a spirit, but one cannot understand the reality unless one is sufficiently educated in the spiritual science. Amiha nayanitaha nayane gopigana dunhara rupa gune dunhara nitya haremana. Neither the gopis nor I shall notice this, for our minds will always be entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. Purport. In the spiritual sky, the Vaikuntha planets are predominated by Narayan. His devotees have the same feature he does, and the exchange of devotion there is on the platform of reverence. But above all these Vaikuntha planets is Goloka, or Krishna Loka, where the original personality of Godhead, Krishna, fully manifests his pleasure potency in free loving affairs. Since the devotees in the material world know almost nothing about these affairs, the Lord desires to show these affairs to them. And we continue with text 31. Dharma Shodhi Rage Dunhe Karaye Milana Kabumile Kabumnamile Daivera Gatana. Pure attachment will unite us even at the expense of moral and religious duties, Dharma. Destiny will sometimes bring us together and sometimes separates us. Ei sava rasa nija sa kariba asvada, ei dware kariba sava bhaktere praksada. I shall taste the essence of all these rasas, and in this way I shall favor all the devotees. Brajera nirmala raga suni bhakta gana, raga marge brajejena chodi dharma karma. Then by hearing about the pure love of the residents of Braja, devotees will worship me on the path of a spontaneous love, abandoning all rituals of religiosity and fruitive activity. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusam deham asrita bhajate tadrishi krida yastuva tatparo bhavet. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. This is a text from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10.33.37. Bhavet kriya pidilin seiha kaya kartavya avasya ei anjata pratyavaya. Here, the use of the verb bhavet, which is in the imperative mood, tell us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandon of duty. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. Purport. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. Neophyte will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear of the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. As long as one is in material conditional life, a strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions between there inebriety is not possible. But in this material world, a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. There are no sexual activities in the spiritual world. The transactions between lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and unadulterated bliss. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of rasa will certainly be dragged down into material attraction, thus to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest region of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is free from the grip of attraction to material so-called love between man and woman. Similarly, if one understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yasoda for Krishna, he will be safe from being dragged into material parental affection. If one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend, the attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with mundane wranglers. If he is attracted by servitorship to Krishna, he will no longer have to serve the material body in the degraded status of material existence with a false hope of becoming master in the future. Similarly, one who sees the greatness of Krishna in neutrality will certainly never seek again the so-called relief of impersonalist, of Buddhist philosophy. If one is not attracted by the transcendental nature of Krishna, one is sure to be attracted to material enjoyment, thus to become implicated in the clinging network of virtuous and sinful activities, and continue material existence by transmigrating from one material body to another. Only in Krishna consciousness can one achieve the highest perfection of life. Evancha jaiche Krishna prakatya karana asura samhara anusanga prayoyana Eimata Chaitanya Krishna Purna Bhagavan Yuga Dharma Pravartana Nahetan Rakama. Yes, as these desires are the fundamental reasons for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity. So for Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the Dharma of the age is incidental. Kona karane jave haila avatare mana, yuga dharma kala haila sei kale milana. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. Dui hetu avatari lanya bhakta gana, apane asvade prema nama sankirtana. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. Seidware anchadale kirtana sanchare nama prema malaganti paraila samsare. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire material world. Maybe I should repeat this one. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which he garlanded the entire material world. Emata bhakta baba kore angikara apane achari bhakti karila prachara. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself. Purport. When Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna, because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as the Supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love Him. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is another of the Lord's wonderful features. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor. And therefore, it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna, in the form of Lord Gauranga, has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarup Damodar Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself, with the attitude of Radharani, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. His intention is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. So here is explained more the reasons for the Lord's appearance. His intention is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. Lord Chaitanya does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees called the Nadiya Nagari or Gaura Nagari pretend that they have the sentiments of gopis towards Lord Chaitanya. But they do not realize that he plays himself not as the enjoyer, Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. The concoction of unauthorized persons pretending to be bona fide have not been accepted by Lord Chaitanya. Presentations such as those of Gaura Nagari are only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always no different from Srimati Radharani. But the emotion technically called Vipralamba Bhava, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mandainer should not unnecessarily intrude into affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. One must always be on guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. A devotee is not meant to create disturbance to Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anukuljena, or favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorable towards Krishna is not devotion. Kamsa was the enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable so-called service. It's a tongue twister. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, And we should support that position. As Arup Damodar did in the Gambhira, the house of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Puri, he always reminded Lord Chaitanya's of Radha's feeling of separation as they are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gaura Nagaris who placed Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer and themselves as he is enjoyed are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. Let's continue here one more. Dasya Sakya Vatsalya Ara Jai Sringara Chori Prema Chaturvidha Bhakta I Adara. 4 kinds of devotees are the receptacles of the 4 kinds of mellows in love of God, namely servitude, friendship, parental affection, and conjugal love. Nija Nija Baba Sabe Shrestha Kore Mane, Nija Babe Kore Krishna Sukha Aswadane. Each kind of devotee feels that his sentiment is the most excellent, and thus, in that mood, he tastes great happiness with Lord Krishna. Tatasta Hayamane Vichara Yadi Kore, Sabarasa Haite Srigare Adika Madhuri. But if we compare the sentiments in an impartial mood, we find that conjugal sentiment is superior to all in sweetness. Purport: no one is higher or lower than anyone else in transcendental relationship with the Lord. For in the absolute realm, everything is equal. But although these relationships are absolute, there are also transcendental differences between them. Thus, the transcendental relationship of conjugal love is considered the highest perfection. And one more. Jatotaram aso swada vise sola sami api ratir vasanaya swadi bi vasate kapi kashyati. This is a verse from the Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.38. Increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one above another, but that love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desire manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. And maybe we can stop here because it will be go further into describing Madhurya Lila. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. And we are going to continue reading of the devotional treasure chest by Srila Bhakti Rakshya Deva Goswami Maharaj ki jai. And here there is a quote from the end, chapter 14, the path of the heart. There is a quote here from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Jatmat Saranam Atito Ham Aksarat Api Chotamaha Atosmi Loke Vede Cha Patita Purusottama. Srimad Bhagavad Gita 15.18. My existence transcends both these 2 substances, Ksara and Aksara, so I am Purusottama. My name is Purusottama. My glories are sung in the world and in the scriptures as Purusottama, the Supreme Person. Purusottama means Vasudev, so Bahunam Janmanam Ante. After many births, when the Gyanis Those of impersonal school come to understand that the prime cause of the consciousness of their quest is a personal one. Then they come to conceive of Vasudev. But such jnanis are very rare to be found. Mostly jnanis cannot cross this line. They are lost there. Je Ravindaksha Vimukta Maninas Tyai Asta Babat Abhisudha Buddhaya Arugya Krichernena Param Padam Tata Patantya Doho Nadrita Yusmat Angrajaha. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. And please forgive me the pronunciation. O Lotus Lord, O Lotus-eyed Lord, all the non-devotees who accept severe penances and austerities to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated. Their intelligence remains impure. They simply speculate in various ways and do not seek the means to take shelter of you. Because they have no regard for your lotus feet, they simply fall down from their position of imagined superiority into material existence again. Generally, it is the fate of the jnanis to climb up to the highest position with great effort. And then when they cannot grasp consciousness means persons, when they cannot grasp consciousness means person, when they cannot cross that understanding, they have to revert back. They have to come back, fall back. And for those who cannot cross this line, who can understand, yes, consciousness means person, a big personality, but I am small. Their bhakti begins there, the relation of subordination of the lower to the highest that comes into effect. Samahat Masu Durlava. Such a person among the jnanis is very rarely to be found, who can take the position. Such a person among the jnanis is very rarely to be found, who can take the positive connection of the highest aspect of life. Mostly they come back. They have to come back from there. After much penance, they climb up to the high mark, but they cannot accommodate that the higher entity must be dealt with devotion. So they have to come back. But those who realize Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, that Vasudeva Purushottama is personal, they can cross that line and enter Vaikuntha, the service area proper. There we are told gradually as their vision grows more and more, they can find potency on the line of the personal God. Then they become the devotees of Lakshmi Narayan and enter completely into Vaikuntha Seva. In that service we find awe, reverence, sastric, scriptural rules, an example of the higher realized souls guiding them. In that Vaikuntha Seva, if the soul does not find the goal of its innate nature, having full engagement, then there will be some sort of thirst, some inner tendency which we cannot find any corresponding relation to satisfy itself. When he feels this kind of urge from within, then he has to search after another rasa, for a pure, more friendly service than the filial service, generally considered to be highest service mood in Vaikuntha, that of friendship with the Lord. Ultimately, the Madhurya Rasa service, the sweetheart's service in consorthood, urges him to go up. It urges him to go up and to go deeper. And gradually, by coming in contact with such Madhurya Rasa agents, he finds his own heart blossoming to its fullest extent. His heart takes him gradually towards Goloka Vrindavan. Then he can see that what was initially realized as Brahman, then Paramatma or Vasudev, then Lakshmi Narayan, that has gradually come to him as Krishna consciousness, no Narayan consciousness. Superseding Narayan consciousness, he comes in contact with Krishna consciousness of reality. He's awakened. He finds himself awakened in a plane where he sees the all-connecting, all-harmonizing principle is no longer Narayan, but Krishna. He's showing himself as Krishna. Then his heart is fully awakened, and at that same time he sees that the environment and the object of his search are also fully equipped. This is full-fledged theism. Full-fledged theism is where the theistic conviction receives its satisfaction in the fullest way. Just as with the opening of the eye we can see the world, and according to the degree of our sight, we come to see the subtle things of the environment. Similarly, by our inner awakenment of the fullest type, we come to the particular world and environment. And that is Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan, the land of love. Movement there is spontaneous, and all around we find the environment is only friendly. It is so simple, so friendly, and the dealings of all who are there are filled with so much intimacy. In Vrindavan we find that our thirst of any higher change of environment, of association, no longer needs to be quenched, but there is thirst, eternal thirst for coming in closer relation with them, in closer connection with them. There is no possibility for any higher change of environment. Where he has reached is almost final, and now the only remaining thing is how to come into a more and more close connection with that environment. That becomes the initiative of our movement there. More and more intimate connection with the environment. The environment is eternal, but in the intimacy of connection, the competition in loving service, the movement is there, and the guidance is given according to that. In this way, there is progress. There is some sort of necessity by which the service is moving, and there is repetition, a kind of repetition, but it is ever fresh, it is ever new, and it is only a question of time, of the time. For example, every day when I am hungry in the morning, food is tasteful to me, but not always. By the movement of time, it is like that. In this way, everything is palatable, not stale. In that plane, there is movement of time, but it is eternal. Yogamaya manages it in such a way, and finally, there we will attain the fullest satisfaction of all the inner parts of our system, the wholesale satisfaction of every atom, of every constituent part of our spiritual body. Prati anga lagi kande prati anga mora. Every part of my every limb cries for union with the corresponding part of every limb of the other side. Sambandha, relationship with the environment, may come to such a state that every atom constituting my spiritual body and mind will aspire after union with every corresponding part of the environment. In this way, in such a friendly way, so many are moving there, and it is adjusted accordingly by Yogamaya. This is the highest conception. And maybe we can continue tomorrow, because a few more pages. Jai. Devotional Treasure Chest Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Yoga Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. And we conclude with Hariharajan and Krishna, and wish everyone to have a wonderful and devotional day in Krishna consciousness. Jai. Ki Jai. Krishnaya Radhavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishnavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Gopala Govindana Srimati Sudana Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Vaishlon Chapter ki Jai, Anati Koti Vaislinda ki Jai, Samarita Bhaktavinda ki Jai, Shri Hari Nama Sankirtan ki Jai, Haribo. Dandava pranams to all the devotees worldwide.